and shock yourself, go ask your company if you can get reimbursed. They'll probably reimburse you. Majority of what I've done throughout my career, if not all, I'm trying to think through. They didn't pay for my study materials for my HR certification, but everything else, like they've paid for. Like different companies, multiple companies, different leaders. So make sure you ask for it. But you want to take on new roles and responsibilities. Lord, this new generation. I can't even say it's a new generation because there's a lot of people who are my age or older. And I see y'all get so upset because,
Well, she asked me to do other stuff, but that ain't even my job.
how you supposed to learn, sis? If they asking you to take on a shit ton of stuff, I don't blame you. That ain't your job, right? But if they're asking you to do 1 or 2 extra things you hadn't done before, like I would use them for the experience. Because if you go apply for that, you're not gonna get it because you don't have the experience. Obviously you've done something where they trust you to do it. If not, then they're ready for you to fail, and that failing should teach you how to do it. Long story short, I didn't want to be no manager no more. People be like, Timeka, you know so much. Oh my God, you really know how to say this stuff. You really understand it. Da, da, da. It's because I'm always learning. It's because my favorite line is that I'm a forever learner. Hey y'all, this is Timeka, the face behind Heyyy HR. And today we're going to talk all about ways that you can get professional development. So many times we get so frustrated because we may apply to jobs or a promotion may come up or a new position may come up. And we're like,
why didn't he choose me?
yeah, and a lot of times it's either 1 or 2 things. Either we absolutely don't have the skills for that position, or we haven't talked to those skills on that resume enough where folks can see that we have the skills for that. But I have the resume review that's gonna help y'all get your skills right and make sure you can talk to it through your resume. But what I'm gonna tell you is how to actually get the skills today. So if you wanna know how you can get some professional development, then definitely keep watching. Just keep in mind that professional development is something that is independently done, right? So I just did a video all on the difference between professional development and learning and development. Most times, unless you have a really good manager, a really good leader, you're not going to get that professional development that you really, really like to get. So you have to sometimes present that to a manager. Sometimes you have managers who are like, we're ready to invest in you. We can help you out, but they have nothing where you can get that information. So what I'm going to do is give you some ways that you can get that or prepare for it, right? So the first thing that you want to do is create a schedule of goals. Because sometimes we go out there and we run and we're like, I'm going to just get this, I'm going to get that. But we don't have a strategy to why we're getting it. If we know that we're going to a specific position, we know that we're looking for a certain promotion, we know that we probably want to do a career pivot, then we need to make sure that we're doing different professional development opportunities and training and learning and getting those skills and whatever our goal is. So if you don't have a goal, sometimes you really can mess yourself up because you might take a whole training that might take 6 weeks, 8 weeks, and here you ain't trying to do that job in the next year. So it's kind of pointless, right? It may be something else you can do up until that time. So you can include like writing down your career path and what you want to do over a period of time. So my girlfriend used to call me a hoarder because I do hold a lot of paper. And one paper that I had was literally how I wrote out my career path because it was so simple, guys. It wasn't all beautiful. Right now, I think we have things like Canva and we have all these different software that we can use that we expect this career path to be so detailed. It literally can be just like how I did mine, a list. And my list started that the fact that I was an HR assistant, I knew I wanted to be an HR generalist next. That was my goal. And then my next goal was I wanted to do an HR specialist. And then I was like, okay, HR manager, HR director. At the end, I put 40 years old, retired. That meant I wanted to do that by the time I was 40 years old, and I wanted to retire as that job. So it can be just that easy. You want to think through what that career path looks like for you. What would you like to get? Don't worry about like,
Timeka, I don't know. I don't really even know all of.
no, it doesn't matter. You know something because something gravitated you towards your career goal. If that's HR or anything else, something made you say, I want to do this. First of all, do like I did. Get your behind on Google and just be like job titles in HR or something. But to be even easier, I have blogs about it. I have videos about it. I'm going to definitely link the blogs that I have down in the description box, and I'll also link the video that I have because I have one about the HR career ladder. But it's what do you want to do over a period of time to learn this new skill or these new skills? And you want to attend conferences. I attended conferences since I was an HR assistant, and I don't regret any of them them that I attended. I heard other seasoned HR professionals ask questions to presenters at the end, and it made me feel like,
Okay, we all don't know the answers.
assume that when we go to conferences, everybody know what they're doing. Everybody know what they're doing, child. So go ahead and attend, and you'll see just how much everybody's struggling for some answers around here, needing some professional development. But you want to definitely read some development books, but I'm going to try to do as much information as I can about different books. So I already have like books for HR managers. These are the ones I suggest. Books for people who are starting the HR career. Books for HR analysts. So those are the 3 lists I think I have so far. But you can also take courses. Taking courses is so helpful because now so many of them are online, y'all. They online. You can do them in the middle of the night when you can't sleep. You can do them on the weekend. Back in the day when I was trying to learn something, like I literally had to wait Monday through Friday, make sure it was a time that I could be out of the office and go through so much hoopla just to learn for this actual company. Now you guys have a lot of options. So you have options like Course Careers. You have options like HRCP. Those are the ones that if you're going into HR, I highly suggest them. I also highly suggest Coursera. I'm going to put links to those down below so that you guys can dive into those options. Another thing that you want to do is make sure that you are being intentional about attending training programs. If there's a training program out there, like go do it. Instead of getting your hair done that time, go ahead and pay for it. And shock yourself, go ask your company if you can get reimbursed. They'll probably reimburse you. Majority of what I've done throughout my career, if not all, I'm trying to think through. They didn't pay for my study materials for my HR certification, but everything else, like they've paid for. Like different companies, multiple companies, different leaders. So make sure you ask for it. With those training programs, that may include things like webinars or seminars, workshops. Again, I go right back to Course Careers because they literally have a training program. HRCP does have a training program. If you're trying to learn HR, those are the things I'm going to suggest all day long. So I'll have those linked down below. But you want to take on new roles and responsibilities. Lord, this new generation. I can't even say it's a new generation because there's a lot of people who are my age or older. I see y'all get so upset because,
Well, she asked me to do other stuff, but that ain't even my job.
how you supposed to learn, sis? Like, people kill me with that. If they asking you to take on a shit ton of stuff, I don't blame you. That ain't your job, right? But if they're asking you to do 1 or 2 extra things you hadn't done before, like, I would use them for the experience. Because if you go apply for that, you're not going to get it because you don't have the experience. Obviously, you've done something where they trust you to do it. If not, then they're ready for you to fail. And that failing should teach you how to do it. I'll tell y'all an example for myself, right? I used to work as an assistant HR manager. So I applied for this job as an HR manager, didn't get it. They made me an HR generalist. When I became an HR generalist, I did so well, they promoted me to assistant HR manager. So they brought in a manager and I was assistant HR manager. And at meantime, when we didn't have a manager, I was totally functioning as an HR manager because we had like 3 or 4 people in our department. So I like managed those folks and everything as an HR generalist. I got frustrated with managing these folks. I kind of ignored the fact that that particular job was in downtown Charleston. And majority of my team, only 1 person was older than me. All the rest of them were like young. So it was nothing for them on a Thursday or a Friday after work to go a block over to the party street and party all night. And when they do it on Monday through Thursday, I used to be so frustrated. I can't tell you how many times people came and literally hung over. People came and just lost and miserable. They had headaches. And a lot of those folks, and I ain't trying to talk bad about nobody because maybe they're in a different space today. But when I knew them back then, they had all literally known somebody and that's how they got their jobs. Only 1 person who was one of our recruiters had experience in HR. The rest of them had no experience. And even our recruiter, her experience was super weak. I was the only one that really had high-level HR experience. So it blew my mind away because I didn't see a passion. I saw a lot of playing around. Long story short, I didn't want to be no manager no more. So I was like, okay, cool. I don't want to be a manager anymore. This company driving me insane. Well, really the manager that they brought in, she drove me insane. So I intentionally applied for HR generalist role. I was like, listen, I already been an HR generalist. I kind of like that. I want to keep doing that for a little bit. Maybe that'll get me more experience so that someone can see me as a director next time and not just a manager or whatever, right? I went ahead to this company, intentionally looked for this HR generalist job. I didn't want a team to manage. I didn't want anybody except me and the director. Let's get this done. Got hired, got that position. The director didn't know what the hell she was doing. I mean, she knew something, but sis was lost in a lot of areas. I got immediately frustrated because she was very condescending. She was very rude. And I can imagine, I tried to have patience with it, but when I saw her lack of confidence in just herself. Like, she didn't talk to other people. She really came out of her office. And I could totally see why. There were several things that I'm like, I get it. So I realized that that wasn't about me. That was about her. They decided, you know what, Timeka, she ain't just getting on your nerve. She getting on the company nerve. They terminated her. But right before they terminated her, the CEO came to me and said, we're going to do an aggressive recruiting strategy. I was a journalist. Why not hire somebody part-time? Why not get a temp person? Why not give that out to an external recruiting agency? That's all the things they could have done, but they gave it to me. Yeah, I had touched on recruiting. I'd never done an aggressive recruiting strategy. And from the plan that my CEO gave to me, he asked me to create a plan because when he compared my plan with my director's plan, my plan was better. My director even was asking me for help on her plan. So he was like, forget it. You're going to do it. You're going to report to me about this. So I still had to do HR journalist duties, and I had to be a recruiter. Back then, it wasn't all this online stuff, or it wasn't as much. I literally had to get in my car. I had to go find events. I had to go out, make the company known. We had rebranded, change our name. It was a lot of work. I could have easily said no, but I took it on because I was like, I want to test myself. Now, I started getting frustrated when they fired her. Now I had to be the HR director, the recruiter, and the journalist. But until it became overwhelming for me, it gave me an opportunity to learn better. A lot of those skills helped me become a senior talent acquisition specialist and feel okay doing it. So sometimes it's okay to do a job you wasn't hired for. This is where your network come in to see if it's too much, right? Or to see if it's just that you're overwhelmed because you need assistance. But don't shy away from making sure that you take on some extra duties. Now I'm off track, my bad. But you want to be careful, right? So one thing I definitely put down here in my notes is that if there's no pay associated with that after a period of time, or if the duties become too much, you got to know when to be like, listen, I need more money. You want to make sure that you're just doing it temporarily. I wouldn't take it on full time permanently unless it came with definitely a pay increase and perhaps some company-sponsored training. So this is where you probably can get some external assistance or some internal. Make sure that these responsibilities fit in your pay grade. Because as you notice, I talked about being an HR generalist. I talked about doing that simultaneously as being a recruiter. Both of those can be in the same pay grade. But when you start having me doing HR director work, that ain't even in my pay grade. So that's when I start pushing back because I'm already overwhelmed. And now you add no more that's in a much higher pay grade. Figure this thing out. But if it's in the same pay grade, it's okay, guys, take it on. I truly suggest that job shadowing, internships, and even mentorships is really gonna help you out. If you can't get that on the job, then you need to get it outside of the job. But those things are really good when you start taking on extra duties, because sometimes, you know, we need to just balance through our thoughts a lot of times, right? Now, another thing that you can do, and I highly suggest this, because my favorite line is that I'm a forever learner. People be like, Timeka, you know so much. Oh my God, you really know how to say this stuff. You really understand it. Da, da, da. It's because I'm always learning. I have not gotten so cocky to the point where I'm like,
Oh, I got this. Ain't nobody got to teach me nothing.
I'm never going to get there. Things change all the time. Things change all the time. I have a coworker of mine, and I probably shouldn't be saying this, but I'm like, girl, it's okay to learn some new stuff. It's okay. I feel like I'm a forever learner. I personally like it, but I want you to know that if you keep the mindset that there's always something new to learn, then you're gonna be in a really good spot in your career. Some of the things that you can do to continuously learn is getting that certification. I never suggest running to get the certification in order to get the job. I don't. I failed the first time because I had very little experience. I passed the second time because I had much more experience at different organizations. I highly suggest getting the experience. People are like, well,
How do I get the experience?
network, get a better resume, reach out to some folks, be strategic in your job searching. Okay, sorry, I'm getting in my feelings. But get some certifications. And if you're like, Timeka, I ain't ready for that certification, then it's okay. You absolutely can use the same resource I've been saying throughout this whole video. HRCP has badges. You can go ahead and complete those badges, and workers' comp and professional development and all those different topics that are big in HR. And you can put those badges on your resume. You can put those badges on your LinkedIn profile. And you're learning in chunks. Those badges are just like mini certifications. They're many certifications, and they'll get you prepared for the big certification. Yep, they sure will. If you're not in HR, then you can earn different licenses. There's not really a license for HR. We have certifications. So maybe you want to go ahead and get the big boy certification. Maybe you're like, I already got HRCI SHRM certification. If you want to work in compensation, there's specific certifications for that, specific certifications for payroll, things like that. So take classes and programs online. I already told you guys about HRCP as well as Course Careers, as well as Coursera. LinkedIn has some courses. Google has some courses. They're not all specific and niched into HR. So my biggest thing is to tell you to go to HRCP and Course Careers because they have HR specific trainings. And then you can also go ahead and get that higher degree. If you already got the job, you're doing well, you want to just make sure that you're learning more and more, then go ahead and get that degree. Just make sure the company paying for it. Check out their academic reimbursement or education reimbursement program. If they don't have reimbursement, then check out what they have budgeted so that they can flat out pay for it and just go ahead and do it. Get it okay by your director, your manager, whoever you're leading, that's leading your department or that you report to, and go ahead and start that education. Just pay attention because most times those things come with a stipulation. So most times you're kind of temporarily marrying the company for a period of time in order to get this money. If it doesn't come with that, go grab it. Another thing that I will always tell you guys that I do, and I did this in a previous video, if I can find that video, I'll remember which one it is, because I think it's like the must-haves for HR professionals or how I get recertified. I'll not only put the links to those down below, but I will also put the picture up here so you guys can see that video. But another thing that I do is I get on different newsletters. So I get on like employment law newsletters. I also get on my broker newsletters. Those things are full of all that legal stuff that I have a hard time keeping up with. So I just take time and read those. Another thing that I do is I like to go to employment law offices. They have different trainings that they invite the public to, and they're specific for HR professionals, really. You're going to find a lot of HR professionals there, opportunity to network too, because a lot of times if you are certified, you can get recertification credits there. But I'll put the links down to those 2 videos where I just dump dive a lot of places that you can get HR recertification credits, and you can also do that for your professional development. SHRM HRCI is requiring those credits because they want you to continue professional development. Cool? They want you to stay learning. That's all. That's the reason for it. Oh, Lord, I went through a lot on this video. I totally wrote this video so short thinking it was going to be a short video. But I hope that you guys found it fruitful. I hope that you found a lot of information that you can just dive into and get started. I'd love if you guys dive into some of these resources and then come back and leave me a comment below.
And be like, yo, Timeka, I did such and such as you told me, and this is what happened.
Oh my God, that would make my day. I love when you guys come back and give me updates. But I will say this, if you have not subscribed and you've gotten this far, you see that this video is a channel where you're going to get a lot of information, child. So you may as well subscribe, hit the bell. And for those of you who have already subscribed and already hit the bell and keep coming back, I really appreciate you guys. Overall, I just cannot wait to see you guys on the next video.